Hello and greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the iGoddessTings podcast. It is I, your host, Camille Telicia, the Intentional Goddess, and I'm so excited that you're back with us for another episode. As you can see, you are still seeing my face, which means I'm on video, which means this is yet another episode of the co-author series for the Shenomenal Women book. I'm so excited. I have 3 more of my co-authors with me today. Remember, there are 23 of us total, right, guys? So you still have some to meet, and I'm so excited for you to meet these ladies. So stick around, and when you get back, you'll get a chance to meet them.
All right.
Thanks. Welcome to the iGoddessTings podcast, a show for the goddesses that is a safe space for us to be ourselves and to talk about all of the things we experience, that we love, we're challenged by, and even working through. I'm your host, speaker, author, and coach, Camille Telicia, aka Goddess Cammy, aka the one and only Intentional Goddess. Let's start the show. Welcome back, y'all. Are you ready to meet these beautiful Shenomenal women? All right, first up, let me start. I have 3 of my co-authors here today, Nicole Curry, Shonta Taylor, and Pamela Lathan. And you are going to get to meet them now, starting with Nicole. So welcome to the show, Nicole. Please introduce yourself to the beautiful audience.
Thank you. My name is Nicole Curry. I live in Torrance, California. I am a lupus warrior, and that is what I do currently.
I was on mute. Thank you. Welcome, Nicole. Shonta, I'm going to shoot it over to you. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shonta Taylor. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I am an educator and a minister of the gospel. In my free time, I enjoy sleeping.
That is one of my favorite things to do as well. I'm so glad I've heard somebody else say that. That's the first time people are like, what do you like to do for fun? I don't know, sleep, rest, no big deal. Well, welcome to the show, Shonta. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Miss Pamela Lathan. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pamela Lathan. I am currently from San Diego, California, by way of New York. I just recently moved to San Diego, my husband and I, over a year ago. So I'm enjoying the sunny weather, although I'm not enjoying it right now because I happen to be in New York and there's a lot of snow, a lot of cold weather. I can't wait to get back to California, but I'm handling business here for myself and my mom. And here in our house, we have property here in Brooklyn, New York. My husband and I are married for almost 20 years, and he's a minister. I'm a youth outreach director for our church organization, and currently human resources consultant entrepreneur, and a Shenomenal Woman.
That part, you better finish with that part, girl. Okay. What is the name of your business for your HR consulting?
It's JPL Consultants. It's my husband and I, and we have a joint venture together with my HR expertise and his expertise in ministry. And we do funerals, we do counseling, we do he also is an online expert with the University of San Diego. That's how we got to San Diego. So he also programs for courses. So we do online training, professional development, and just using my HR skills. I have a human resources master's in human resources. I'm sorry, I got a little tongue twisted, but so just using my skill set to get back into the market because I have been out of the market and not having a job in a long time. And I had a salon that we had here in New York, but I had to give that up when we moved to California. So it's a lot of dynamics there. So
a lot going on. I got you. Got you. Well, welcome to the show. Excited to have you. I don't know why I was about to mute myself again. Okay, ladies, so let's kick off the actual interview so the people can get to know you. And y'all know I got my notes here. Green screen is not allowing y'all to see that. No problem. All right. So the first question, of course, and Pamela, since you just went, I'm going to pick on you first. If you can just give us a 2 to 3 sentence overview of your chapter to let the people know, entice them, interest them in what they can expect when they pick up our book and read your particular chapter.
My chapter is mainly about me being too fast for my whole life. I always did things like at a crazy speed, crazy age. I started young with everything, with having sex, with indulging in drugs and, different things like that. So I unveil that part of my life in my story.
Now I'm muted. I like it. Okay. First of all, when she said being too fast, I was like, you better. I'm too fast. Too fast. Okay. I love it. Okay. So, Shonta, same question for you. What, in 2 to 3 sentences, tell us about your chapter?
My chapter is a snippet of my life as a young person and the dysfunctions and the different obstacles that I went through in search for love, or that quest for love, being love, giving love. So that's pretty much what the entire chapter is about. And like I said, it's a small snippet because there's been layers throughout my life that has exposed what true love really is. So that's what I'm talking about in my chapter.
I love it. I mean, and it's true, right? Like our chapters, we're telling our story, and even if we give it a little bit of breadth, it's still just like a portion. So yeah, looking forward to that. Okay. And finally, Nicole, please tell us what your chapter is about.
Well, let me tell you what my chapter is not about. Because I'm a lupus warrior, I have been told that everybody thinks that my chapter is about lupus. It is not. It actually chronicles the story about what I faced, what I had to overcome before I was diagnosed with lupus. And there are not very many people that know that story.
Okay.
So, to not give away too much of the story, to keep some of the mystery.
Got it. Not a problem. Okay. So, story of your life pre-lupus. I'm intrigued, y'all. Let me tell you guys, honestly, like I am so excited for this book. I haven't looked at the, when they sent us the manuscript and all of that, like the rough draft thing or whatever we had to approve. I refused to look at anybody else's stuff. I was like, I want to read this for the first time when I get the hard copy in my hands. So every time I do one of these interviews, I'm like, ooh, can't wait to read that chapter. Ooh, can't wait to read that chapter. So anyways, don't mind me. That's just where I'm at. All right. So question for each of you, has this been your first time being an author in a book? Yes. Yeah. Shonta, what about you? Was this your first time too? Okay. Amazing. So Shonta, starting with you, just picking on you. I don't know. Y'all, do you see her necklace? Okay. Do y'all see this luxurious, orange goodness that we have here? Anywho. So, first time author, why did you say yes to being a part of the book?
Well, I originally said yes because of Tasha Champion. I had recently met her maybe a year or two prior, and she just left a great example on me. She was so encouraging, so loving, so thoughtful. So I just felt like I can't say no to her. And then the second reason is because I was procrastinating for maybe 3 years about writing a book. And so I thought this would be like a prelude into writing a book so I can kind of see how it works or get my feet wet. So that was the original reason for why I said yes. But then after I said yes, I mean, just the floodgates just opened because it just really opened me up to a lot of things that I needed to deal with that I thought I had overcame already. And so it was really a blessing in disguise. So I'm excited that I said yes. And I just feel like that, like I said, it was a blessing for me to say yes and do this project.
I love that. And I think all of us said yes because it was Tasha at first, right? We're like, you know what? Because I love you, girl. Yes, I will. Believe in your vision. So yes, I will do it. So I love that. Nicole, what about you? Why did you say yes to being part of the book?
I don't know why y'all keep insisting on asking this question. Um, okay, if you all are familiar with Tasha's other project, The Mother's Diary, that she did with Kiana Shaw. Okay, so I'm at their book signing, right? And I've never laid eyes on one Tasha champion, like ever. And so I thought that the project was just for like natural born mothers, like you had to be an actual mom to participate. I did not know that it was open to godmothers, which I am, aunts, which I am, mentors, also that, or, people that you've mothered but didn't necessarily give birth to. So I said to the Lord, y'all, okay, wow, like I missed an opportunity. If you give me another opportunity, I will take it. And so Tasha discusses her chapter, and a particular quote is in her chapter. And she'll have to tell you the story. Like, it was so powerful. I actually thought I slid out of the chair, but like I really didn't. Like, I was still like upright, but I really thought I fell out, like honestly. But I don't know how many months later, and boom, this Shenomenal Woman project. And I went, right now, Jesus, like right now, right now. Okay. So I filled out the application, and the rest is history. And as Minister Shonta said, um, yeah, I had to finish unpacking some of that stuff. So I remember like writing and having to lay out for like 2 or 3 days and recover and like cry a little bit, which, Miss Tasha is, been working with me a little bit on, because it's not like one of my favorite pastimes. But yeah, so here we are.
Beautiful. I love that you literally said yes before you even said yes. Where you said, if it comes up again, I'm a yes. And then it was like, oh, okay, here it is, prove it. And you said, done and done. So I love that. Beautiful. Okay, Miss Pamela, same question for you. Why were you a yes to this book?
Well, the reason why I said yes was for various reasons. I have a couple of reasons. Because I just relocated to California, I thought it would be a great opportunity to network with other entrepreneurs, other women in the business, and just to get to know some people. And then my connection to Tasha is, although I had just met her when I came out here, we were connected through our church. And she's also very close friends with one of my nephews. So we have kind of like a personal relationship as well, that I said, okay, well, I'm gonna give her opportunity. It looks like she has a good following, and she's very educated and very smart and very ambitious. So this is someone I need to connect to if I'm gonna do things here in California, to off-start my business and get going and stuff like that. So that was the reason why I partnered with them. And then I was like, well, maybe it's time that I can share my story. After almost 58 years of living this life, a lot of people still don't know, a lot of my personal business. Even people that I've known all my life, a lot of them still don't know my journey, where I've been and what I've done and stuff like that. So I said, well, maybe it's an opportunity to get the story out there a little bit, tell a little bit about the story. And then if I want to do something on a larger scale on my own or with another author or whatever, I already have a prerequisite set up, with a roadmap to lead me to the next bestseller. So it was one that I wanted to network and get to become familiar with and build relationships with other women such as yourself.
I love that. I love that it was a very holistic reason for saying yes. And then it sounds like for each of you, writing the chapter turned into something more, right? Something bigger for you. So I'm going to skip to, actually, yes, I'm going to skip to I had a question. So Shonta and Nicole, especially, you were mentioning how writing your chapter kind of helped you work through some other things, right? It brought some things to life. So what do you feel like was the hardest thing for you to open up about inside of your chapter? And Nicole, I'll go ahead and start with you. What was one of the hardest things?
Is really about, it was the thing that I was diagnosed with prior to being diagnosed with lupus. That is not really a subject that I ever really touched. And to be perfectly honest, I said yes and had no idea what I was going to write about. I said yes and did not plan to write about this here subject matter, and sat down and started writing, and like 2 or 3 things came up that are getting ready to go public, which I believe may help somebody. And so at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like Miss Pamela, though, there are some people that are gonna be clutching pearls and probably grabbing more than wine. Like, some folks don't, yeah. Pray with me, saints, because I have a lot of surrogate aunties and they tend to fall out, but it's all good. Yes, it's all good. But they'll be fine, because at the end of the day, there are women that need to know that imperfections don't disqualify you from the message that you need to get out there.
I love that. Ooh, your imperfections don't disqualify you. Let me write that down one time for the one time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, is that not what she said, y'all? Is that not what she said? Okay. Thank you. Don't disqualify you. Okay. Pamela, same question for you. Let me get it together.
And you haven't had a drink yet.
Okay.
I had like 3 sips.
Pamela, same question for you. What was one of the hardest things for you to open up about inside of your chapter?
I think it was my early drug use. Back in junior high school, I started experimenting with drugs. But when I was doing my chapter and as I was completing it, my mom happened to be in California. And I had her read it once I got done with the major edits. And her approval meant so much to me, because it helped me to realize that if it was okay with her, if she didn't feel embarrassed, that I shouldn't either. So, because there was some things that, although she probably knew as I was growing up what I was doing, but she never shared or never said anything. So now that it's down on paper, because as she was reading, she was like, validating everything, I guess, that she already knew. So once I saw that she was comfortable with it and she wouldn't be embarrassed by it, I was like, and nobody else matters. Because I knew my husband would be supportive of it, because he's an author as well. But I knew he would be supportive. But to get my mom to co-sign, it was just status quo to let me know that I could move forward and share my story.
I love that. I love that. That your mom, you know how moms are, right? Like we think we're fooling them. We think we're getting away with something, and they're like, "Oh, I knew your little tail was doing that."
She put on her glasses and she was looking. She was like, I can hear her say, as she was reading.
She was like, I may not have known all the details, but I was not in the dark. Please be clear.
She may not have known how I did things, but she knew what I was doing.
I love that. And I love that you showed it to your mom. So that's beautiful. Shonta, same question for you. What was one of the hardest or the hardest thing for you to open up about inside of your chapter?
I didn't really have hard things to open up about because I'm like very transparent. Most people that know me know they call me raw and uncut. So that wasn't the hard part for me. But what was actually challenging was preparing it and getting it together because of what I was dealing with. Like I have 3 adult children at the time of writing it, I had, I still have one son who has an illness. And so it was really bad during this time. And we were in and out of the hospital and I was getting all this bad news. And then my older one, my 29-year-old, he had a transition. It was different things going on in their lives. And then I have one girl, the baby, who's 22. And so when I was writing the story, just the flashbacks of different things that I went through, it was, it enabled me to help them with what they were going through, but it reminded me like, you was once just like them. And, sometimes as adults and we move forward in life, we kind of forget where we came from. And so it made me take a deeper look into who I am and what I stand for and what I was presenting towards my children. And so in that writing piece, it was a healing piece for me because like I said, I was able to reflect. I was able to, recognize certain things in me I needed to tweak in order to be able to help my kids through the challenges that we were going through that period. So I think that's what was kind of hard for me or challenging for me because it was like, I had to look in the mirror and it was like, my reflection was looking back and it was like, okay, so you're on them about this and you're on them about that. So now I need you to deal with you. And then I was able to come to my kids through what I wrote and let them know, you know what, I do understand. And let me tell you a little bit about me because y'all just know me as mommy. Let me tell you about the woman, Shonta, And so that's what that did for me. It was definitely a healing piece for me. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And I'm just grateful for even what I went through. It's made us better.
I really, really, really like that in writing your chapter, it created space for not healing, but like connection, deeper connection with your kids, right? And better, more opportunities to relate with them. And so okay. So I'm going to stick on you then. I'm aggressive. No, I'm gonna, since we're already in conversation, right? So the next question is around something that people are going to be surprised to learn about you. And you're saying, like, you already said people are, you're very transparent, right? So most people know everything. So is there anything in your chapter that you think folks would be like, now I didn't know she went through that, or I had no idea? Like, is there anything, or have you already kind of just been sharing your story? And if there is, what is it?
What I mean by transparent, it's not that I've shared my story. I'm just very forward in where I am now. So people that have been in my life as of now, because most people I grew up with are deceased because of the life that I lived. So they didn't know the story and the details. So this snippet of the story that I share, I know all of it is going to be shocking in what I shared because they never knew the details. They just say, Tay is just really straightforward, or, she's very, and I'm like that because of things that I incurred over 45 years, you know what I mean? So I think all of it will be a little shocking. They may know, bits and pieces, but they don't know the details or how I got there or why I think the way I think or responded the way I responded and things like that. So I know it's going to be not shocking, but an eye opener. And like I said, in this, I was able to talk to my kids in depth about so many different things. And so that's what I'm most proud of. Because I'm like, I never even thought like, oh, well, sit down and tell your children, a little bit more about your life. Because, as a mother, we start right there in motherhood. Once I gave birth, okay, I'm a mother now. So my whole life was just being a mother. But I mean, just talking to them about, okay, before I was a mother, I was a woman. And then I was a girl, a teenager, and a child. And these are the things that I did and I experienced, good, bad, and ugly. So in writing that, I was so able to like talk to them about it. And they were just really like, what? Like we shocked, because they're just seeing a certain, finished product in their eyes of mom. And it's like, really? You went through that? And so just from that, one chapter, it opened many chapters and I'm letting them know. And I still have more chapters to go. This is not the end of my story. There's more that I'm still living and learning and growing. So be patient with me and understand that your mom had a story just like you do. And I'm not going to, downplay what you're dealing with and going through anymore because I had to reflect back on what I went through, and that's what I was doing. I'm just being honest right now. I was doing that like, that's nothing, boy. You can find another one, as a mom, just kind of like downplaying their issues because I just know like at 29, yeah, whatever, you still have life to live. But like I said, in reflecting back on my own stuff, I was able to communicate with them better, understand them better, and then they was able to see me better as well.
I love that. So basically, your whole chapter is just going to shock and awe folks.
Probably.
As she said, y'all gonna be surprised by the whole thing. So if you're listening to this and you haven't purchased or ordered your copy yet, and you want to get the shock and awe from Shantae's chapter, now consider this your cue to go place your order, please. Shenomenal Women, the book. Thank you very much. Nicole, what about you? Because I know you shared you're a lupus warrior, but this is pre-lupus. So, what is something that people are going to be surprised by in your chapter?
You see, I'm laughing already. I'm laughing because, and I hope this doesn't come off wrong. So if it does, let me just disclaimer. Let me apologize in advance. People are going to be surprised that if I am not careful, I have been known to have very maladaptive coping mechanisms. But that is not how I present on the outside. I might attribute that to my parochial school training. And if anyone is familiar with Catholic schools and whatnot, there is the education portion. And I'm finna have a whole lot of comrades mad at me, but then there is the subculture portion where you basically learn how to present a false front that's believable to the masses. Please see Cruel Intentions, Clueless, even though it wasn't a Catholic school, but still. If you're into the darker movies, The Craft, how they all present like the girls on the outside, but on the inside there is just all manner of shenanigery. That was me, and pretty much my entire friend circle. We got the grades, we did the social circle of reasonable acceptability, but girl, once we got behind closed doors, it was a different story. And that can go either way socially, but for me interpersonally, they're going to be surprised to find that I have some really maladaptive coping mechanisms if I'm not careful, if I am not continuously working on myself.
So basically, you're kind of lifting back the veil a little bit on who you are, or is veil appropriate? Yeah, we'll go with veil. Yeah, okay, I like that. First of all, you definitely just brought me back to my youth. Talk about Cruel Intentions, The Craft.
I had to throw it back.
Listen, but why am I I need to go see if those are on Netflix still right now? I might need to.
Good point.
I just might need to take a little trip down memory lane over the week. Perfect. Thank you for answering the question, Pamela. Over to you. Same question. What is one thing that people who know you, and obviously not your mom, she's already read the chapter. We know mom knows us best, but some of your other folks, what are they going to be surprised when they pick up the book and read your chapter to learn about you?
I guess, a lot of people in my network and outside of my network, people that I worked with, they know the type of person that I am. And I've always been a very fiery person, a very go-getter. And, I guess maybe, losing my virginity at 13, just doing drugs at 13 and 9 and, all that kind of stuff. It's ooh, she did all of that, And then a lot of people outside of my network, maybe, well, in my network, but outside, more professional side, a lot of them didn't know I was once paralyzed. And when I was 24, and I was still in college, going to school and everything, and I became paralyzed for 52 days. I was in the hospital and I was paralyzed from my waist down. So to see me walking again now, even though I got a little limp or whatever, I've had some back issues, major back issues, as a result of me being paralyzed, but I thank God that I can walk again. I was given the opportunity to walk again. I had to learn to walk 3 times in my lifetime. When I first was walking, when I had knee surgery, when I was paralyzed, and then when I had knee surgery, when I had knee replacement surgery. So I had to, learn how to walk all over again. So I think a lot of people would be surprised, that I was paralyzed and that I've been so mobile or whatever throughout my adult years. I didn't let that deter me. I didn't let that stop me. I continued on, even at 24, I was like in the hospital with people that had MS and other more serious situations than I, and they will continue to have problems with walking and be in and out of the hospital and stuff like that. But my incident, it was up to me to determine how I healed, because with exercises and stuff that I need, and I was able to come back and be able to walk again. So I think a lot of people will be surprised about that.
I'm on mute. I'm trying to tell. I was like, oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Yes.
And some of that's in your chapter? That's in your chapter?
24.
Is the story in your chapter of the parent?
Oh, yeah. It's a big part of the chapter because it linked, because I was in my college years. I had to stop going to college, and I had to, and I was working full time. I was at the immigration service working. I was working full time, but I had to, I had to recoup for 52 days, but my job stood beside me. When I went back, they let me park in the garage and everything. My dad bought me a car, so I got a lot of perks out of being, after being paralyzed, I was still at home with my parents, so they made it, quite comfortable for me to, rebound.
Wow.
Thankful, yes. But that's a big part of my chapter. Thank you.
I definitely, listen, I might sneak and read a chapter. Okay. Anyways, y'all didn't hear that. One of the things that I've just been hearing from everybody, right? It seems like for you three, especially, you explored your youth, right? Like you decided to take your chapter and really share some of the story of where you came from. And so I'm curious why, for each of you, it was important to explore that particular stage or phase of your life as a part of this book and what it means to be Shenomenal. And so, Nicole, I'm going to just pick on you first. If you have an answer for why it was important for you to explore like your younger years inside of this book instead of something else.
It actually doesn't explore my younger years. It actually explores, I'm around 34. The reference to my younger years would pretty much give you the foundation for just how I'm made up or built up internally. Even when you're an adult, you get used to hiding things. You get used to, I'm okay, I'm strong, I can handle it. And you're a hot mess of a train wreck, falling apart, and you just don't want anybody to know. And so, with that being said, you may or may not, instead of handling things a healthy way, you may handle things another way. And for me, my chapter was about unlearning how to do that and exploring that at, right around 34. To about, I think, between 34. I don't think I was quite 40 yet. So between 34 and maybe like 39.
Okay. I think maybe I got thrown off with the Catholic school reference, but I got you. I got you. Definitely. So Pamela, I'm going to shoot the same question to you since we are talking about some of your younger years for sure. Why was it important for you to explore that stage of your life in this chapter?
Well, I guess it was the the foundation of what my story was all about. Doing things doing things I had no business doing at a younger age. And it did start from when I was young. I was smoking cigarettes at 9. I didn't put that in my chapter. I kind of left that out, but my mom busted me smoking cigarettes at 9 years old, and I'm sitting in the house with her. So how dumb was I, So things continue to happen I evolved at such a young age and doing things. I was always tall. So I was tall for my age. I looked older. When I was 15 years old, my girlfriend and I are sitting in a nightclub in New York City. Okay, 15, drinking and just enjoying our birthday at 15. Okay, so it was things like that, that I was always I grew up with older people. My brothers were older, 11 years and 13 years older than me, and all of my cousins that grew up with them, they were older than me. So they helped to introduce me to things that, I shouldn't have been introduced to, even though I didn't want to throw them under the bus in the book, but, because they know who they were when they read my chapter. But I didn't go into that. I said, if I get an opportunity, to tell my full story, then I'm really going to expose it. But, just always doing things premature. And just letting you know that, okay, I went through all of that and all of those obstacles, but I continue to educate myself. I had a full-time job. I worked from 15 years old all the way to now, so I've always had my own, thank God, even though I was blessed with grateful parents, that made sure that I was always taken care of. But it's a great story to share, and others that may start out this way, there's hope. And all you have to put it in yourself and want to do it for yourself. And that's my message, basically.
I love that. I love that. Okay, Miss Shonta, throwing it to you. Why was it important for you to explore your youthful stage inside of this chapter as well?
Okay, first I just want to say, honey, me and Lady Pam, I feel like we twin sisters. Oh wow, man, she had me reminiscing. But for me, it was important for me to explore my young years because the place that I was in at that time. So being divorced, approaching 50, all these different things, and not dating, being celibate over 8 years, y'all, not 80, all these different things. So I was having kind of like, I guess, like an emotional breakdown, like, okay, when is it going to happen again? I want to have a husband again. I want to have that relationship and these different things. So I had to explore where it started. And for me, it started at age 13, looking for love in all the wrong places or in all the wrong faces for me. And so I had to explore the dynamics, like where I came from, where I was going, how I saw love, what I thought it was. And so that's the story that I'm unfolding in this chapter. And like what I'm going through now in my life, it was helpful for me to reflect back on that so I can be okay with me and then refocus and say, look, girl, get it together. This is nothing against you and who you are and who you become. Love will come when it's time. So for me, that was important to just, reminisce back on where it started, where it began.
I love that. I feel like even though Nicole said hers was less so about her younger years, like the thing that I'm hearing is that the younger years were the foundation for where you guys are now and the journey that you took. So I love that. Shonta, you're a minister, yes, right? Pamela, your husband is a preacher, right? So you're a preacher's wife. Nicole, I know you said you did go to Catholic school, but I feel like I heard some mention of faith inside of. Okay, so I would love to just give each of you an opportunity to just speak on whatever role your faith has played inside of your story, whether it's in your chapter or just who you are in general. Because at the end of the day, we are still more than our chapters, and so we're still women having conversation, right? So since you're already off mute, Nicole, if you want to just kick that off and share for you whatever role faith has played for you in your life or in your chapter, whatever feels comfortable.
Wow, know that's a loaded question, but I would say
You're welcome.
that, yeah, right, thanks. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. We are charged to have faith the size of a mustard seed. Throughout my life, the series of challenges that I have been tasked to face, I wouldn't have made it without faith, because we're talking stuff that I couldn't see my way out of. To reference, Minister Shonta talked about what she's going through right now. Right now, my mom is 5 months ill in the hospital. She battled, and God saw fit to bring her through sepsis, double aspiration pneumonia, meningitis, and vasculitis. So that is a step further into her brain. I hate to say it, she almost didn't make it. So it was looking absolutely crazy. So without faith, where would either one of us be? So that's the role that faith has played in my life, even when it's impossible, difficult, and I'm at my wit's end trying to figure out, God, how am I going to? No, I don't think I can get through this one. Like, show me something. That's the role that it's played in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And definitely sending you and your mom lots of love and healing energy and just, support. Not easy. So, yeah.
I did read your chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So definitely sending you lots of love there. Minister Shonta, I gotta come with the official title for this question. What role has faith played for you, just inside of your story or even in your chapter, whatever you feel called to share?
For me, the Bible says in Hebrews 11:1 that now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So for me, faith has been the evidence that I can make it. It's given me hope. Without my faith, I know I wouldn't be here today, because it is my faith that transformed me. It changed my thinking. It gave me wisdom in areas where I was lacking. Faith restored me, because before, I was dependent on me, my ability, what I could do, how I thought. But once I accepted Christ in my life, I looked to something higher than me, something bigger than me. And through Christ, now I'm able to see myself for who I am, the fearfully and wonderfully made person that God designed me to be. And I haven't even seen, the best yet. He's still revealing every day. So for me, my faith is everything. I don't even think that I could live the life, not that I'm living, but the life I'm going to live, all the manifested promises that God has given me. I know I can't do it without my faith. And so, like I said, for me, faith is everything. And it helped guide me through this whole, transition of writing. And then the next phase and the other goals that God had me doing is all because of faith, trusting and believing and standing on his word, and then allowing him to guide me and instruct me in all the things that I'm doing in my life.
Y'all, I don't know if you can see the video, but Shonta got Pamela going to church over here, okay?
I'm going to shout in my chair, okay? You just don't know.
He don't go show up, but Pamela's over here waving.
I'm with you, girl. Hey, we're 2 or 3 are gathered, honey. He's in the midst now.
Listen, I love it. I love it. So Pam, I'm just gonna shoot it to you. Faith, what's the role? How is it supporting you?
Girl, you should have started with me first. But now I'm tearing up. Everything that Shonta said, I can echo everything. Yeah, we got to talk, definitely, because we do have some similarities in our stories. And and faith. That was my scripture that I was going to quote. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. And my background I'm rooted and grounded in my religion. And, and I don't talk religion to other people because I let people praise whoever they praise. Okay, I know who my God is to me. And I know I was born and raised in my organization. So I've always had that foundation under me. And just to be connected with other people, to help encourage my faith. Because when I was going through, yeah, I have faith but there were times where I would just get so caught up in the moment that I just had to God, please just rescue me. Why? We always say why, but why not you? It's to prove a point, to show other people that you can succeed. You can go through things and you can rely on whatever it is that you're relying on to bring you out. And once you get on the other side of it, you have a testimony, because they say without a test, there is not a testimony. Okay, so I believe that my upbringing and everything that I've gone through has only strengthened me to where I am today, to help me to move forward in the things that I know that is right in my life to help sustain my life. So I'll never give up on my foundation, even though I may say to God sometimes, just help me understand this a little better. Why? But why not? Again, because if not you, then God can use you as the vessel to show others that things can be done. Okay. And miracles can work, and you can overcome things, and you can get on the other side. When you're on the other side of your situation, you're like, wow, I made it through. Okay. Because when I was going through and losing everything, and business this and job that, and my husband and I both home, unemployed. He has a doctorate degree. I have a master's degree. So what is this lesson that we're supposed to be learning? Because it has to be a lesson out of all of this, because we somewhat set up ourselves to be able to combat things in our life and careers and stuff like that. But the ultimate plan was for God to make us examples for others. With him being a minister, I went to church every Sunday with my problems. I took it to church. I didn't stay home. I took it to church and cried through every service and all like that. And people shared my story, because you have to share your story with others so that you can get strength and not be ashamed of it. And people will say, well, he's the minister, he's the pastor, and y'all going through this? Yes, this is a test. The devil is testing us. So it's up to us to become victorious and overcome it. So right on to girl. Whew.
All right, and so we're just going to go ahead and pass the collection plate now. This has been a beautiful service. The doors of the church.
I'm telling you, I'm ready to sing a congregation.
Who got some tissue? Because Miss Pam, like, really.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
I was like, hallelujah, we overcome by our testimony. All of us wrote our testimony. So imagine how we feel, what the reader is going to feel. Because we truly are, we overcome by our testimony. That's how we're overcomers. That's why we're Shenomenal Women, because we didn't let the test take us out. We passed the test.
Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Okay. So you know what? We're just gonna slide right into the next question then, right? Because we are sharing the testimonies. And so my question for each of you is, what is one thing that you hope our readers take from your testimony? It doesn't have to be everything, but just what is one thing from your story? And Shonta, I'll go ahead and start with you, since we are talking about testimonies. Yes. What is one thing you hope that they take from your testimony today?
I really hope that every person reading all of our chapters, I hope they leave. I hope they finish reading the book and feel empowered. Not just inspired, not just motivated, but empowered. And when I say empowered, I'm not talking about empowered like, oh, Black woman, hear me roar. Yes, we're all Black women. We're all Shenomenal in our own rights for whatever God has called us to. But I hope that everyone leave empowered, meaning that you live beyond fear, you live beyond anxiety, and whatever else is holding you back from being living up to the full potential of who you really are. So for me, when you read Shenomenal Women, I want you to know, yes, I'm Shenomenal, and I'm empowered to live my very best life, whatever that best life is, because we're all in different, areas in our lives. But for where you are in your life right now, what is the best you could do? Are you putting out your best in every area, emotionally, physically, in your work, in your abilities, in opportunities? Are you seizing them? Are you empowered to do and be the best you? So that's what I hope that everyone can take from reading this book.
Y'all taking us to church, honey, right now. Good night. Good night. Okay, listen, if you guys would like to make donations and your tithes and offerings, you can just... That's what you should do. Okay, Nicole, you're off mute already. So what about you? What is one thing that you hope our readers will take away from your chapter / your testimony?
That you're going to have to continue to do the work on you. That, we're real quick to, she need to, he need to, she need, that is really about the work, even in your interactions with other people, about the work that you need to be doing on you, and that it's a process, and that the process is going to continue, and that this is a lifelong commitment to yourself. That's what I would have them take away from the Shenomenal Women project. That if you're going to be a Shenomenal woman, then you have to commit to tooling the Shenomenal woman.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay, Pamela, what about you?
Well, I've learned that, living life is about choices that we make for ourselves, how we set ourselves up to achieve, and goals that we set for ourselves, and different things like that. We are going to encounter obstacles, all those trials and tribulations that we go through. But I'm a hurdler in my mind, because I'm really not that athletic, but in my mind, I'm a hurdler. And every problem that I've encountered, I've jumped over it. And each hurdle that I go through, each problem that you go through, you keep jumping. Just keep jumping until you get to where God is destined for you to be. And it's not going to stop, because you're always going to be challenged. And we should want to be challenged, because we should use that as our stepping stones, or as our motivators to keep us challenging, moving through life. Don't get so complacent. Don't get so stagnated that we just stay in one place. I was at a job when I worked for Snapple. I worked for Snapple for 21 years. And I was very complacent there, because I had good benefits. My pay was decent, but it was a lot of perks there. But it was a lot of opportunities that I didn't move forward with while I was there, because I became complacent. So I say, never become complacent. Always look to life as a challenge. Always want to do more for yourself, and take on new venues, new challenges in your life. I went back to school. I'm going for my certification in HR. I went back to school when I needed to fall back before I opened my salon. I said, I need to know about this business. I know about the beauty business. I used to model when I was younger. I had friends in the industry that did hair, but I never did. That was never my profession. I always went and sat in their chair. So people had to come to my chair to sit in. So I had to learn about that business. I went to beauty school. So never stop investing in yourself to help you move forward in life, because you never know where God is going to send you. So just prepare yourself and never stop. And one thing to remember is never give up on life, because life will not give up on you.
I mean, this is just like, I feel like I need to charge for this episode, quite frankly, at this point. Y'all just dropping gems and goodness and scripture. Whew. Okay. Ladies, this has been amazing. we are ready to wrap up. We're going to be closing out with our final question of what brings you joy. But before we do that, I would love for you to each tell the people where they can connect with you on the interwebs, where they can find you, if they want to follow up, if they want to give you their tithes and donations for the scriptures you for the sermons you gave today. So, Nicole, we'll start with you. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to touch base with you after they listen to this or after they read your chapter and they're like, oh, I just need to connect with her? Is there a way they can get with you?
Sure. My email address is NicoleACurry77@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Actually, I do sponsor a lupus group. It's called SOS, Sisters of Strength. Sisters spelled SISTAS of Strength. So you can connect with me there.
I love that. Perfect. Okay, y'all. Email Nicole or find her on the Facebooks. Minister Shonta, what about you? How can people connect with you?
If anyone wants to connect with me, they can find me on Facebook at Taylor Shonta. That's SHONTA'. Taylor Shonta. And you can inbox me and I'll give you other connections depending on what you want to talk about.
That part. That part. Perfect. And Pamela, what about you?
I am on, my email address is Miss Lynn, MSLYNN 1030 @gmail.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Pamela Duncan Lathan, and Duncan is my maiden name. We're still in the process of setting up our business for JPL Consultants. So I don't have that information right now, but that's how I can be found. Email and Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
Perfect. Okay, so before I have the ladies answer their questions, you know, we always have our I Goddess card for the episode. And so today's card is reflect on your relationship. And it's the principle number 14. An intentional goddess understands that every relationship serves a purpose to help her become the best version of herself. The message is, dear goddess, take a moment to think about your relationship. If one doesn't come to mind immediately, ask Spirit to highlight the one that has called this card forth. No matter the nature, whether it's romantic, familial, platonic, or a colleague, how is it serving you? How are you serving it? Are you allowing it to feed you? Are you being fully present? Spirit is prompting you to do some reflection at this time. Start with these questions and discover from there. So if that card resonated with you, who do you need to reflect on right now? And how can you support that relationship? Okay, so that's your guidance for the week. If it resonates, you know what you can do. You can reach out. You can email me. You can IG me, DM me on the Instagrams or on Facebook. Let me know. Of course, that's from the iGoddess Oracle deck, which will be back on sale again soon, guys. I promise. All right, with that, ladies, we are going to close out with our final question of what is bringing you joy right now. And I'm just going to go Pamela, Shonta, and Nicole. So Pamela, what is bringing you joy right now?
I guess a peace of mind. And realizing that, you know, my life is a little bit more stable. We see through the clouds now. We kind of see our way clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my husband and I, it's been a tremendous journey transitioning, you know, even prior to moving to California, to accepting a position like that and stepping out there on our faith. Having been born and raised in New York all my life, leaving my 91-year-old mom behind. And she's about the only family that I'm really concerned about here in New York. My husband has relocated before, so it was okay for him. But he just wanted to make sure that I was okay, having been here all my life. So stepping out there on faith to move clear across the country from one side of the earth to the other, to California, to start a new life and not be afraid of what's ahead of us, because we're setting ourselves up to be to live our best life. Shonta, you said that that's one of our mottos, living our best life. Heaven on earth, right here, right now. And just realizing that we together can conquer whatever it is that we need to sustain our lives and be successful in life, to move forward in a whole new state, just doing something different that we've never done before, and having the strength to continue on with our life and still maintain relationships on the East Coast and the West Coast and the Midwest or wherever it is, and still being able to tap into get renewed in our faith with our online Zoom church services that we've been having, because we haven't been back in the church since COVID hit. So that's been keeping us alive also, and keeping up with things. And my youth outreach program with my at my church is growing stronger and stronger. So, and this is a dream that I had over 30 years ago, to implement this youth outreach program in our organization. So that brings me joy as well, being able to give back to people that need to be pulled, that need help to move along and help.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And for the record, I can totally relate. I moved to California from Georgia. And I'd only visited once. I didn't know anybody, just went out there. I just wanted to relocate. So I know I moved to LA. So I know a little bit of what you're talking about. Okay, Shonta, what is bringing you joy right now?
When I tell you, I think Lady Pam is inside of my brain. Girl, I'm right here with you. Really, my joy right now is coming from peace. There's even a scripture, Isaiah 26:3, that says, the Lord will keep your mind in perfect peace because your mind is stayed on him if you truly trust in him. And so for me, peace is the biggest thing I have going on right now. Like, I'm grabbing hold of peace like it's the last attribute that I have, because like I said, it's been the whole pandemic has been extremely hard, having to work from home, but I am grateful to have a job still. But also, I lost 11 relatives through this whole thing. I just, the last one was in January, but we lost 11 and they were back to back. And, not being able to be there, in the hospital with your loved ones, or see them, not being able to bury them the way that we want to bury them, or come together and just hug and love on each other, losing so many, matriarchs, grandmothers, grandfathers, sisters, cousins, like, just losing your family. So for me, peace has been a pivotal thing, like I said, going through the things with my son and his illness and just life in itself. Without that peace, I just don't know that I could have joy. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so gracious to God for allowing me to have peace, the peace that he gives. The world didn't give it to me, but God truly gives me peace. And so that's where my joy comes from. That's the only way that I can wake up every morning, still have a smile on my face, in spite of circumstances, in spite of what I'm going through day to day, in moment to moment, actually, I can reach back and say, hey, I still have my peace. And so I'm excited about peace.
Amen to that. Yes. Nicole, bringing us up, finalizing everything, finishing us out. What is bringing you joy right now?
I agree with the two ladies that peace is very important, but what's bringing me joy right now is also mental clarity. Because I remember back in the day in church, the seasoned saints used to say that they were grateful for being clothed and in their right mind. And I don't think people realize, if they've never been outside of their right mind, what a blessing it is to be in your right mind and to be able to try to stay there. Like, if you got a piece of your right mind, you're doing good these days. Because if you look around, there are many, 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 many people that are not in their right mind, with the pressures and tensions of COVID, with personal stress, with the combination, see all of the above that folks have going on, to have day-to-day, moment-to-moment mental clarity is truly a gift from God. And I thank him for it, because it's a struggle. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even the social, or the lack of social contact, for sure, is impacting people as well, because humans are social by nature, and yeah, we can have the Zooms, and this is a great like substitute, but it can't be the permanent. We need to have the physical touch and the contact and, you know, the embraces and all of that, especially during hard times of loss. So I fully agree. Having that mental clarity is, whew, I'm glad you said that. Okay. So, ladies, before we start a whole other conversation, I'm going to complete us because I have taken up more of your time than we had planned. So, thank you so much, each of you, for coming on to the show today, sharing your stories, being transparent, being just open and really inspiring in a lot of ways. And I'm so excited for people to get their copies of this book, Shenomenal Women. We have three of the I'm a co-author too, but three of my co-authors in the book, Pamela Lathan, Shonta Taylor, and Nicole Curry. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Folks, listeners, beautiful people, you already know. I'm very grateful for you for being here again for another episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you so much. I will see you in the next episode. And until then, be blessed, be amazing, and be intentional. Bye, guys. This has been another episode of the iGoddessTings podcast, created and produced by Camille Telicia of The Intentional Goddess. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a fellow goddess, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and rate and review it so other goddesses can find us and join in too. We're available on all podcasting platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. For more information about The Intentional Goddess, head to www.theintentionalgoddess.com, and you can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram at The Intentional Goddess. See you in the next episode.